Hi, I'm Patrick Reagan. Welcome to the Operating Systems, Part 1, Common Operating Systems. This video covers common operating systems and their purpose, and breaks them down by the type of devices they are used in. It also reviews various file systems, vendor lifecycle limitations, and compatibility concerns between operating systems. As always, stick around for the practice questions at the end to test your knowledge and help you prepare for the A+ exam. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button, and if you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Hedgerback channel for more tech training content and technical know-how. The operating system is an essential system software that manages the computer's hardware and software resources, serving as a bridge between the user and the machine's physical components. It allows the user to control the computer and its applications by providing a user interface between the user, the hardware, and other software. It efficiently allocates resources such as memory, processor time, and disk space to various programs and users. It schedules and manages tasks, allowing multiple programs to run simultaneously and make efficient use of the system resources. It also provides a wide range of basic services. Popular examples include Microsoft Windows, macOS, Chrome OS, and various Linux distributions for computers, and Android and iOS for mobile devices. The kernel is the central part of the operating system that connects the hardware and the application being used. It provides basic services for all other parts of the OS. It is always resident in computers' memory. In most systems, the kernel is one of the first programs loaded on startup and will handle the rest of the computer startup. It enables multiple applications and tasks to share hardware resources by providing access to CPU, memory, disk I/O, and networking. The operating system also provides a user interface that which you can interact with the computer. They are divided into graphical user interface, or GUI, and command-driven. The operating system can be designed to run single tasks or multiple tasks, and the operating system can be designed to run for a single user or multiple users. Device driver is a special kind of software that controls and communicates with a specific hardware device. It is a pluggable software component that bridges the gaps between the hardware device and the operating system. For personal computers, Microsoft Windows has 70% of the market and are prevalent in enterprise environments, with Apple macOS second. Linux, Chrome OS, and others make up the remaining shares. Microsoft Windows is a family of graphical operating systems, or OS, developed and distributed by Microsoft. It serves as the primary software that manages the computer's hardware and software, enabling users to save files, run applications, browse the internet, and perform other tasks. With its user-friendly interface, Windows is the most popular operating system for desktop and laptop computers worldwide, offering different editions to suit personal, professional, and business needs. Windows is more prevalent in enterprise environments, with an estimated 75 to 85% of enterprise desktop and laptop computers. Currently, Windows 10 and 11 are the most common Windows versions running. However, Windows 10 support ends in October 2025. CompTIA exam covers Windows 10 and Windows 11. macOS, originally called macOS X, is developed and marketed by Apple Incorporated, is the primary operating system for Apple's Mac computers. It is the second most widely used desktop operating system after Microsoft Windows and ahead of all Linux distributions, including Chrome OS. macOS is highly intuitive and user-friendly with a sleek design that makes navigation simple. Excellent performance and stability are obtained by optimizing the software for Apple's hardware lineup. macOS combined with the Apple computers are generally more expensive than similar Windows and Linux-based options. macOS will only run on Apple computers. macOS is comparable to Linux in structure because both are based on the Unix operating system. Some parts of the Apple macOS were originally based on FreeBSD, but macOS has matured on its own. macOS is not open source, and its source code is not made available to the general public. As a modern operating system, macOS is a multitasking, multi-user operating system. Linux is a family of open-source, Unix-like operating systems based on the Linux kernel. It is an operating system that directly manages the system's hardware and resources like CPU, memory, and storage. It can be found on a wide range of devices and systems, including desktop computers, servers, smartphones, including Android, supercomputers, home appliances, and network appliances. The main developer for the Linux kernel is Linus Torvalds. To create a full and functional system, the Linux kernel is combined with a collection of software packages and utilities which are together called Linux distributions. Different from Windows, there are many distributions of Linux where a company or organization has taken Linux and customized it and branded it as its own. Some of these versions are distributed for free, while some distributions are paid distributions that include additional support at a very moderate price, usually via subscription. Today, there are over 600 Linux distributions or distros available. Ubuntu is the world's most popular Linux-based desktop operating system with over an estimated 20 million users worldwide. Many distributions are built on Debian. Red has 33.9% of the share of global server operating systems market. Other popular Linux distributions are SUSE or OpenSUSE, CentOS, and Fedora. Fedora is an upstream source for Red Hat Enterprise Linux and CentOS. Apple iOS is a proprietary mobile operating system created by Apple Incorporated to run its mobile devices, primarily the iPhone. It manages the device's hardware and software, enabling features like touch-based interactions, app management through the App Store, and seamless integration within Apple's ecosystem. Android primarily refers to Google's mobile operating system, the Linux-based platform that powers smartphones, tablets, and other devices, making them user-friendly and allowing for a vast range of applications and customization. Android is the most popular operating system worldwide with a significant market share on smartphones. It's an open source system, meaning its source code is publicly available for developers and manufacturers to use and modify, which has led to widespread adoption and diverse device ecosystem, including devices from brands like Samsung and Google's own Pixel line. iPadOS is a mobile operating system designed by Apple specifically for its iPad tablets. Apple's iPadOS, which is a variant of iOS, has a leading share in the tablet market. Introduced in 2019 as a fork from the iOS operating system used by iPhones, iPadOS is tailored to the iPad's larger screen and increased capabilities, offering features like enhanced multitasking and Apple Pencil integration. It includes Mac-like features with the introduction of a menu bar, and a familiar Windows control brings a Mac OS-like feel to the iPad for productivity. While sharing a common code base with other Apple operating systems, iPadOS provides a distinct user experience with an annual release cycle and features optimized for the tablet's form factor. Chrome OS is a cloud-focused Linux-based operating system by Google that powers Chromebooks using the Chrome browser as its main interface. It is designed for speed and security, booting quickly and making web apps and Android apps from the Google Play Store central to its user experience. While it syncs with Google services and cloud storage, it also supports some offline functionality in the installation of Linux apps, making it a versatile and lightweight alternative to Windows or Mac OS. A file system is the overall structure a computer uses to name, store, organize, and retrieve on a drive or disk. It provides a map of clusters or allocation units so that the operating system can find files on the drive or disk. When you install a storage device, you must format it with the file system. Note, file systems are covered in more depth in the CompTIA's A+ Storage Devices Part 6 file system video. Common file systems used today include the File Allocation Table 32 or FAT32, an older system introduced with early versions of Windows, which still sees use in some contexts today due to its wide compatibility with various devices and operating systems, though it has limitations with large files and partition sizes. New Technology File System, or NTFS, is the primary and default file system for modern Windows operating systems, providing robust features like journaling, file encryption, compression, and permissions. Resilient File System, or REFS, is a more modern file system than NTFS, used primarily with Windows Server enterprise-grade solution and large-scale storage environments that are designed for data integrity and scalability, which are critical in server and virtualization scenarios. Extensible File Allocation Table, or exFAT, is a modern successor to FAT32 designed to overcome size limitations and provide better compatibility for flash drives and external storage across Windows, macOS, and Linux. Fourth Extended File System, or ext4, is widely used and default file system for many Linux distributions, known for its journaling and support for large files. Extended File System, or exFS, is optimized for high-performance computing. exFS is often used on Linux servers and handles large files and parallel input-output operations efficiently. And lastly, Apple File System, or APFS, is the default file system for modern macOS and iOS devices, offering performance improvements, advanced data integrity features, and better performance on solid-state drives. Vendor lifecycle for operating systems primarily concern the finite, predetermined period a vendor supports an operating system before it reaches its end of life, or EOL. After the EOL date, the vendor no longer provides security updates, bug fixes, or technical support, leaving users vulnerable to new threats and leading to potential compatibility issues with newer software and hardware. This limited support window creates a substantial risk for organizations that continue to use outdated OS versions, impacting security, stability, and long-term operational costs. Key limitations of risk of vendor OS lifecycle include end of life, or EOL. Vendors such as Microsoft, where Microsoft supports older OS versions for a limited time after a new one is released, after which official support ceases. Security vulnerabilities. Once a vendor stops support, any discovered security flaws will not be fixed, making the OS an easy target for cyber attacks. Lack of bug fixes. Without ongoing updates, bugs in the OS will persist, leading to instability and potential crashes. Compatibility issues. As the technology ecosystem advances, AOL operating systems become increasingly incompatible with modern applications and hardware, leading to reliability problems. And increased resource drain. While it's possible to continue supporting an old OS, it becomes a significant drain on resources for the vendor and, by extension, for organizations that must manage the unsupported OS. Windows 10 and 11 have different version releases. For example, Windows 11 is released annually with yearly updates named by the year and half of the release, such as 23H2 for the second half of 2023, in addition to several additions for different uses such as Home, Pro, Education, and Enterprise. Some primary versions of Windows 11 include the original 21H2, which was released in 2021, 22H2, 23H2, and 24H2, which was released in 2024. Windows supports include Windows Mainstream Support that offers full support and feature updates for the first 5 years after the product's release. Extended Support, which follows, provides critical and important security updates for an additional period. Extended Security Updates, or ESU, which are paid services after the end of the support date to ensure security for legacy operating systems like Windows 10 beyond its official end date. Windows 10 was released July 29, 2015, and mainstream support goes on to October 13, 2020. Extended support ended October 14, 2025, the last version of Windows 10. Windows 11 was released on October 4, 2021, and mainstream support goes until October 13, 2020 for the first release of Windows 11. Extended support is not announced yet. Expect a minimum 5-year support of the last release of Windows 11. Compatibility concerns between operating systems include the operating system's inability to run software, hardware, or other OS components designed for a different platform, often due to differences in file formats, system functions, or hardware driver requirements. These issues arise from OS updates altering the operating environments, the use of legacy or proprietary software and hardware, and fundamental differences in underlying OS architectures, preventing seamless operation and potential causing errors, performance degradation, or complete failure of application and devices. Other compatibility concerns with the operating system is software availability. For application availability, software developers may not create versions of their application for all operating systems, meaning a program available on one OS may not be available on another. Executable formats. Different operating systems use different executable file formats, and requires specific metadata, which prevents a program compiled for one OS from being recognized or run by another. Dependencies on system features. Applications may rely on specific system functions or features that are altered or removed in new OS versions, leading to performance issues or failure. Security measures. Modern OS security improvements can restrict older applications from running due to an outdated security protocol or insufficient administrative permissions. Hardware and driver incompatibilities would include outdated drivers. Hardware components may not have updated drivers to support new OS versions, causing malfunctions, graphical glitches, or devices not working at all. And then you have consequences of incompatibility. Application failures. Software may fail to launch, run poorly, or crash completely. Device malfunctions, where hardware may not function as expected or at all, impacting productivity and user experience. And disrupted workflow. Users may experience a significant disruption if their critical applications or hardware becomes unusable after an OS update or when switching platforms. Question: receive an email stating that the OS they are currently supporting will no longer be issued security updates and patches. Which of the following is most likely the reason the administrator received this message? Answer: the OS will be considered end of life. Question: a user is unable to use the latest version of an application on a legacy personal tablet. Which of the following is most likely the reason? Answer: the OS is end of life. Question: the company wants to use a single operating system for its workstation and servers and avoid licensing fees. Which of the following operating systems would the company most likely select? Answer: Linux. For more information, refer to these sites. In summary, the operating system is an essential system software that manages the computer's hardware and software resources, serving as a bridge between the user and the machine's physical components. The kernel is the central part of the operating system that connects the hardware and the applications being used. Microsoft Windows is a family of graphical operating systems developed and distributed by Microsoft. macOS, originally called macOS X, is developed and marketed by Apple Incorporated and is the primary operating system for Apple's Mac computers. Linux is a family of open source, Unix-like operating systems based on the Linux kernel. Today, there are over 600 Linux distributions or distros available. Apple iOS is a proprietary mobile operating system created by Apple Incorporated to run its mobile devices, primarily the iPhone. Android primarily refers to the Google's mobile operating system, a Linux-based platform that powers smartphones, tablets, and other devices, making them user-friendly and allowing for a vast range of applications and customization. Android is the most popular operating system worldwide with a significant market share on smartphones. iPadOS is a mobile operating system designed by Apple specifically for its iPad tablets. Apple's iPadOS is a variant of iOS, has a leading share in the tablet market. A file system is the overall structure a computer uses to name, store, organize, and retrieve on a drive or disk. Vendor lifecycle for operating systems primarily concern the finite, predetermined period a vendor supports an operating system before it reaches its end of life, or EOL. Thank you for watching this video. The next video will be Operating Systems, Part 2, OS Installations and Upgrades. If you like this video, click the like button. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.